Hello, boys and girls, and welcome to another math lesson. For today's math lesson, we're actually going to be reviewing previously taught concepts. So what we're going to be talking about today is place value. So let's go ahead and go over our I can statement. So our I can statement is, I understand that the two digits of a two-digit number represent amounts of tens and ones. So before we go ahead and get started with that place value review, we're going to go ahead and do a number talk. So get out your math notebook and a pencil, and we're going to go ahead and get started. So as you can see, these are my tally marks. So I want you to think of some ways that you can count these tally marks. Now remember, you can put that hand on your chest and think of those ways. Pop those fingers out when you think of a way. If you need to, you can always pause this video so you can think a little bit longer, a little bit harder. I totally understand that. So I'm going to stand off to the side so you can look at these tally marks. All right, boys and girls. So I've thought of two ways to count these tally marks. So one way I thought was I can count by ones. Okay, so I can count by ones. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to count these tally marks by ones. Let's count them together. Count them with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I got the number 8. So that was one way I could count those tally marks. Another way I thought of to count those tally marks was to count by using addition. So the other way I thought of was to count by using addition. So I see that there is a group of 5 tally marks here and a group of 3 tally marks here. So I'm going to take that group of 5 plus that group of 3 to see what I have. Now, what is 5 plus 3, boys and girls? That's right. 5 plus 3 is 8. So both of those are 2 different ways to count those tally marks. If you came up with a different way, that's even more amazing. I'm super excited to see or hear what ways you counted those tally marks. All right, let's go ahead and dive right in. We are doing place value review. So these are things that you've already talked about. Mrs. Lockie taught you these last week. So first I want to start off with is a flin. So who remembers what a flin is? Flin is a tens, right? He's worth 10, okay? So if I drew him as his cube, right? So okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's Flynn as his tens cube, right? But you can also write him as a stick, right? So he can also be a stick. And one Flynn, right, is worth 10. So one Flynn is worth 10. Okay, so that's Flynn, remember? All righty. Now, let's look at Adrian. And what is Adrian's value? Adrian is a ones, right? He's a ones cube. So Adrian, like if you went back and looked at Flynn, Adrian is just one of these squares, right? He's just a ones cube. So he's 1 cube, or you can write him as a dot. And each one is only worth 1. So when you count the ones, you count by ones. If you're counting Flynn's, you would count by tens, okay? So let's go ahead and let's do some examples. So looking at this, I want you to go ahead and hit pause on this video, and I want you to draw this chart. So we're gonna draw the base 10 blocks on the top. We're gonna do 10s and 1s in the middle, count how many 10s, count how many 1s, and then write the total number at the bottom. Same thing over here. Draw it at the top. Tell me how many 10s, how many 1s, and then write the number at the bottom. So go ahead and hit pause. All right, welcome back, boys and girls. So we're actually gonna go over this one first, okay? So we're gonna go over this one first. I'm gonna make these a little darker just to make sure you can see how many there are, okay? So what we're gonna do first is we see that there are base 10 blocks drawn already. So I want you to always count the 1s first. And the reason that's important is because when you get to addition, you learn to always count the 1s first and then count the 10s. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna count the 1s first. How many 1s blocks are there? There's 2. How many 10s blocks are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 4 10s and 2 1s. Now, what I want to do to find the whole number is I want to go back to my drawing and I want to count from the 10s to the 1s. So I want to count and go up in order. So ready? 10, 20. Remember, we're counting by 10s. 10, 20, 30, 40, 41, 42. So my whole number is the number 42. If you notice, this and this should line up as well as this number right here, because this is the 10s place, as well as this number here in the 1s place. They should line up. They should be exactly the same. So this 10s place should be the same as this 10s. And then this 1s should be the same as that 1s. Okay? Now, let's move on to the second one. And if you need to, you can always hit pause to finish filling in that chart, and then hit play again and join us again. All right. So now what we're going to do is we see that there are 6 10s and 2 1s. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to draw my 10s first. So if I was to draw the 10s, how many am I going to draw? That's right. I'm going to draw 6. So I'm going to draw my 6 sticks or 10s. 10 or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw my 1s. How many 1s are there? That's right, there are 2. 1, 2. Now I want to find my number. Okay, so I want to find my number. So I'm going to go up there and I'm going to count in order. I'm going to count sequentially. Okay, so if you're counting by 10s, are you going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? No, you're going to count by 10s first. So this is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Is that 70? No, that's a 1. So it's 61 and then 62. So my number is 62. Now remember, this number should be the same as the 10s place. This number should be the same as the 1s place. They're the same thing. So if you need to, you can always hit pause, and then you can come back and join us again. Alrighty, boys and girls, look at these 2 charts. I would like you to go ahead and pause this video, draw this chart. So you have the drawing, the base 10 blocks on the top. You're writing the number of 10s and 1s or the number of Flynn's and Adrian's. And then we're going to determine the number, the actual number. So what is the value of those base 10 blocks? Let's go ahead and hit pause. All right, welcome back, boys and girls. So what I'm going to do first is I know my number is 70. So I want to go ahead and I want to draw the number 70. So are we going to start with the 1s or are we going to start with the 10s? That's right, we're going to start with the 10s. So how many 10s would I need to draw? Now you can either look at the 10s place and figure out how many 10s you need to draw, or you could count by 10 till you get to 70. So I'm going to count by 10 till I get to 70. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. Now, let's look at the ones place. If you're looking at the ones place, it's a 0. How many ones do I need to draw? Can you draw 0 ones? No, you can't, so you don't draw anything. Okay? Now, we're going to go ahead and we're going to look at our 10s and 1s. We're going to count how many 10s there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then how many 1s are there, boys and girls? That's right, there's 0. And again, like always, you should be counting out and seeing that this 7 and this 7 in the 10th place, and there's a 0 and a 0 in the 1s place. And then there's 7 10s and 0 1s. Okay? Now, if you need to finish filling in that chart, you can always hit pause. Alrighty, welcome back. Now what we're going to do is we are going to look at this number. So it gave us how many 10s and how many 1s there were. So we're going to go ahead and draw the amount of 10s and the amount of 1s. But first I'm going to draw the 10s. How many 10s do I need? That's right, I need 1 10. How many 1s do I need? 9, that's right. So I'm going to draw 9 1s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I drew 1 10s and 9 1s. Okay. Now I want to know the number. So what's the total number? What is this right here worth? What's the value of all of this together? Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to count up. So let's start at 10. 10. Is that 20? No. You count by 1s. 10. Count on. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Good. Now, if I look at my number here, this is a 1. There's 1 10s. I drew 1 10. Look here. There's a 9. There's 9 1s. I drew 9 1s. All of it should match. Okay? Okay. All right. So, let me go back to that for you. If you need to, you can always hit pause and make sure you have this in your notebook. I'm sorry, I went ahead too quickly. All right. Once you hit play again, I want to go over your math assessment, or your, not a math assessment, oh my goodness, it's your seesaw lesson for math. So for today, you're going to do some review. So let's do the first 2 together. So we're going to do this yellow one right here. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to do this green one right here. Okay, so I'm doing them with you. All right, so if I'm looking at this, it wants you to label the 10s, 1s, and then tell me the total number. So kind of like what we just did there. We're doing the 10s and 1s that were in the middle and then writing the total number on the bottom. So how many 10s are in this first group of base 10 blocks? 1, that's right. So I'm going to write a 1 here. How many 1s are there? 1, 2, 3. 3 1s. Now to figure out my total number, remember you count all of your base 10 blocks together. 10, count on, 11, 12, 13. So the number is 13. And if you can tell, my 10 spot, which is here, has 1 and 1. My 1 spot, which is that first spot on the right, has 3 and 3. Okay. Go into number 2, the second one. First, what you want to know is you want to know how many 10s there are. So how many 10s are right here? 2. Oh, trick. How many 1s? That's right. There's 0 1s, so there's 0. Now I want to know the total number. What is the total number? The total number is 10. You would count by tens. 10, 20. So the total number is 20 because I counted by tens, right? 10, 20. Okay. So there's 20 here. And as you can see, remember from when we drew to begin with, here's the tens. Here's the tens. 2 and 2. Here's the ones. Here's the ones. 0 and 0. If you need to do that on a sheet of paper with 2 different colors, that's perfectly fine. This is how you do your seesaw activity. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. There's no other questions. It's only 1 page. So it should be pretty easy, pretty simple. If you need to, you can always come back and rewatch this lesson or a lesson from week 5 of math, okay? Because week 5 of math would have went over place value. So if you need extra help, also you could always pop into, if you're in my class, Mrs. Cooper's class, you could pop into my office hours, as well as Mrs. Zalocki's class. You could pop into her office hours as well. So if you need any help, go back and watch the lessons. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you next time. Bye.